West Coast or in the Central Time Zone. Good afternoon, just barely those of us on the East Coast. Sorry about that echo. Fixed it. Matt Canik joined here by Hannah Lieberman for the second day of the Scrabble Players Championship from Las Vegas, Nevada. Hannah, how are you doing this morning?
I am doing great. I'm excited to see some good Scrabble. And I am thankful that I am not in charge of thinking up words this morning. I'm still asleep, but these players, they are up and ready to go. It's nice and sunny and I don't know, 180 degrees in in Vegas, or so I'm told.
Come
And I
on,
think
it's only 178. Let's be real, Hannah.
yeah, let's not exaggerate. All right, so we've got Jackson going first. Ooh, a tough start there. Um, some power tiles, but not a whole lot he can do with them.
Yeah, I think Jig is almost certainly the thing to do here. It's good and defensive. VIRT is not the worst, and 22
Ooh, a
points.
vertical start.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of those. Mac did it yesterday as well. And Noah, I guess, ready to respond with all of his tiles sideways. If anybody knows why Noah has done this, please enlighten us in the chat because this is unusual. I've seen players play like chaotic where they're just kind of all over the place, but I've never seen someone turn all of their tiles on the side like that before. So
Maybe it's just specifically to spite us.
I think so. For everybody at home, this is Noah's metaphorical middle finger. So we'll have to adjust. Noah, I like if Noah would just drop QI right here. That's another metaphorical middle finger. That's a hey, if you don't have an S, you don't get to play Scrabble right now.
Yeah.
That's a super fun play. I mean, the leave not great, VFK whatever, but it just what can Jackson do in response? But I think exchanging is reasonable here. You could also consider playing 5 for 20 points, but that opens up the board holding KNQ. So Noah electing to exchange here, holding just EN, maybe some thought to holding the K as well, which is so-so on this board, but I think turning over extra tiles, going for an S on a tight board like this makes sense too. And we'll flip this over to Jackson.
I think they've both got, the J and the Q to me you would always rather have their counterparts of the X and the Z, right? Almost always. But right. Luckily for Jackson, he's able to stack because he got that O. If he didn't have an O, he would be a little bit out of luck here. But lucky for him, he's able to stack and actually rack up some pretty good points. VR, not the greatest leave in the world, but certainly better than that slog of consonants he had earlier.
Yeah, Doty or Divot is another similar play to shed that V instead, but the V synergizes rather well with the R, and Doty scores better. So I think that makes sense for Jackson to do. And Noah crucially does pick up that S, and not just that S, but a bunch of goodies. He'll certainly bingo out of this rack EEILNST for those of us who can't read sideways. I'm glad I'm not on camera right now because I am just craning my head, turning it 90 degrees, and I look like a fool and will be developing a crick in my neck by the end of this for sure. But alas,
he was doing that was his intention this whole time, I'm sure.
A big troll for us. So Noah's got several bingos. Lee Knight's is the highest scoring one for 73, and Noah's still kind of throwing those tiles all diagonal and whatever. Jeez, Noah, are you okay right now? Are you spinning? You got some vertigo or some hangover going on? I'm not sure, but all right. He does eventually orient them all up and down. Lee Knights comes down for 73. Big exchange or big hit on the exchange. EILST into the EN leave. And Noah's going to surge ahead 73 to 49 as Jackson sits on AACFORV. He'd love to hit a 5 down to parallel alongside Doty and hit that triple word, but it's not in the cards. He doesn't have any 5-letter words that fit in that spot with this rack, and is going to have a difficult decision here to make. Flavor through that L is an option that makes a decent amount of sense. It opens up 2 spots, one mediocre one and one larger one. Or he can play a little bit more defensively, something like a Fava, making DA alongside Doty for 21, holding COR. Fovea is a big open play through the E and Lee Knights for 19. Or if he wants to score as well as he can right now, Afar is a quadruple overlap underneath Lee Knights for 30 points, holding the rather nasty COV. I know Noah is typically more of an open board player, whereas Jack is more of a flexible, I'll meet you and do what you don't like to do player. But both of these guys are very solid players who I think could do well on any type of board. Very tactical, very analytical players. So if I'm Jackson, I think rather than maybe shaping the board here, I'm just trying to grab the equity and make what I feel is the best play.
Absolutely. And, we're not at a point in this game right now where Jackson can necessarily shut down the board. It's too early for any of that. So I agree. If I'm him, I think I'm trying to get rid of, I think I'd probably favor, no pun intended, because he's got those letters, favor as getting rid of as many of those tiles as I can.
Yeah, you certainly want to try to get your way out of this rack. I would spend quite a bit of time here because this play is certainly going to change the shape of the board. There's a lot of plays again on Quackle that are all within about 4 equity points of one another, and sacrificing 1 or 2 equity, not a big deal. But thinking about the shape of the board, where you want this game to go, how you can set yourself up with the letters you're holding is big, or perhaps the letters you're not holding. Jackson going to play Flavor here, which is going to guarantee us probably we're going to get to that top left quadrant and be able to play in that bottom left quadrant as well. I think that's a reasonable play. 24 points, favoring playing off as many of these letters, as you said, Hannah. And play will pass back to Noah, who's drawn it a CIINOPT. We've got a tie game exactly 73-73. And Noah's got one standout option here, which is a double-double. I won't say it just quite yet, but no bingos available, just a 44-point double-double for chat to find and drop.
Yeah, so he's got some great options. I hope I'm sure he knows to look for that double-double. Sometimes it can be hard to think to ourselves to separate these bingo-friendly tiles when we're not bingoing. But, if you spend a few turns fishing for a bingo, you might as well have gotten 30, 40 points for each of those turns, and he has that opportunity. So it'll be interesting to see if he finds it. Looks like instead he's going to go for that triple spot, which is another good option. He maybe could have taken his time to find that double-double, but certainly not a bad option, and a nice lead that he has too.
Yeah. The double-double was incipit, which you don't really think to do. It's a 3-I word. You don't think to double-double through an I when you've got 2 more I's on your rack. But that would have been 44 points. Definitely a missed opportunity here for Noah, although he's not going to pay any kind of price, as he draws incredibly into his leave. ACEIRT blank. Noah certainly to bingo next turn. But we'll flip back over to Jackson, who's drawn more gross kind of stuff. And he's going to have to make a choice here. Do I play the cue now, or do I hold on to it for return? Kaj, as he's got set up there, plays alongside Flavor, making EF for 32 points. Cade also playing for 34 points right there. There's some merit maybe to holding the cue because you're turning over 5 new tiles. There's a lot of chances at a U to play off, but the cue is so bad. So Jackson opting.
It's not like he got no points for it. He still, he scored roughly the same amount of points as he would have gotten for Kaj. In fact, a few more.
Yeah.
And now he has there's an open I and he's got an NG. So maybe he can put something together. Yeah. But of course, I think we can all agree that Noah is going to be bingoing this turn. It's just a question of where.
Yeah, Jackson actually drawing into cleating as a double-double through that I, and Noah also with double-doubles through that I, such as Criteria or Raticide, many choices for him. But he's also got Steeric at the bottom with flavors for 89, and he's got 89 pointers from the P in Pinto, such as Picrates, Picrated, Particle. So many options for Noah. Us at home know that the double-doubles will knock out Jackson's best play. But Noah has a big decision to make. This will be very interesting. Steeric, pie crated or a double-double for a few fewer points. In this situation, I would certainly be inclined to play Steeric here, take away that flavor spot. But oh man, this is a tricky turn. I have no idea what Noah's going to do, and I know it's going to be a huge swing in this game one way or the other.
I'm
Jackson
almost
was
hoping that he plays Steeric, not just because I think it's the best move. There he goes playing it, but also because it's going to keep this game interesting.
Yeah, Jackson has a second bingo available as well, Oct Angle from the O. So certain options for Noah would block both of Jackson's bingos. This will block neither of them. And Jackson will insta-drop cleating as soon as he's tracked the tiles, written down the score, and done what he's required to do before he makes a play. Here it comes, cleating down for Jackson. Lots of fireworks, boom, 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 and we are off and running on day 2 of the SPC.
Not too much to think about when you've got a double-double option there. I think he was like, yep, we are. Sometimes it's nice, too, when your opponent bingos to say, I'm not going to let the pain of that point deficit last too long. I'm just going to go ahead and catch myself back up right away.
Yeah, yeah. So, wow, like we've seen a lot of these where like there's similar options, but we at home know that one of them is way better than the other just because of what it's going to give back or not give back to the opponent. Little choices that seem to be inconsequential, actually huge. But you can't know what your opponent has in Scrabble unless you're one of those dudes who looks at your opponent's racks as they write them down. Don't be that guy, by the way. But I digress. Noah now with a bunch of garbage after he's had a couple very high probability racks, Lee Knights and Steeric. He's BDDGSUX now. So
I'm not looking at the Quackle, but I'm wondering if it's recommending something like budged through the E of pleading just for the sake of getting rid of as many things as possible. Oh, it looks like he's going just for playing off the X. I maybe would have held on to it to see if I could get something higher scoring, but there are not a lot of like easy X spots on this board. I can't see them necessarily opening up anytime soon. So I do get that decision.
Yeah, Quackle does like budged actually on a quick sim. And the second best play available was Sud, SUDD, making Cades and Odd for 30 points holding BGX. Do is simming about 7 points below those other options. But, kind of interesting to me that Noah drops this down so quickly. But, he's shaping the board, keeping it open, keeping that A column available so you can bingo down in front of flavors. Still got the opportunities from the B. Still got opportunities to backhook GI. So this is going to ensure the open boards that Noah tends to enjoy playing.
It's also interesting, too, because it luckily for Noah worked out that he didn't set up something for Jackson, but he easily could have set up a quick little point scoring opportunity by having that X right below the double word. If Jackson was vowel heavy and needed to just get rid of, an A even, he got some quick scoring opportunities there. So maybe another reason to avoid that. Looks like Jackson's looking maybe to play Hurl, just get rid of Hurl off maybe the R of pleading. I don't know that he has any really good plays that could fit down to the F of flavor and get him on that triple lane.
Yeah, no, nothing outstanding. Jackson could block that triple lane if he wants to with the play like Lurch through the C in cleating for just 10, but it's going to be very difficult for Jackson to score almost anything on this turn. I'm not seeing any options. He could play HUN down to the end. Lee Knights, that'd be his highest scoring option, but ILNRR is his leave there, and that is just not a very good leave. Lots of E's for him to draw. I think we've got 9 in the pool out of just 48 unseen, but even an E into ILNRR, I'm not seeing too many good opportunities or bingos he could draw that will fit. Loriner could be one of them, but that won't fit on the board. So if I'm Jackson, I'm looking to play off a few more of these tiles. As crazy as it seems, playing Lurch for 10 or Hurl for 15 to the L including may be some of the best options. Hurl obviously does take a front C. Both C's are played, but it also takes a front T. And one T is unseen to Jackson, but the other 5 are on the board. So this is going to set up a big spot for whoever draws a T or a blank potentially down the road.
Right, but it's at least those C's are gone. The odds of that are pretty slim right now, so it's not as risky a move. Oh, we see the K come back that we saw from the beginning with Noah. It ended up totally working out for him to trade it, but it'll be interesting to see now if it bites him in the butt. Of course, he got to use the own X spot that he set up for himself. That was pretty lucky.
Chat's going to have a field day with this as Egged comes down. Egg, of course, our very favorite play from Word Cup, or our very favorite non-play, rather. So Egged for 38 is a great way for Noah to score and jump ahead of Jackson. It's now 251 to 216 after each of their last two plays. We'll get that score updated for y'all just as quick as we can. As Jackson to play out of AIKLNRW. So again, big T spot available for whoever gets there first. I'd like to try to turn over tiles and get there. Hurl also takes a back Y, which could be big points, but not the way the board is shaped right now. There's not really anything that can hit you in NWL in that spot. So Jackson now has decisions to make. He can make a play like AW and JOW and HA.
That's what I was thinking.
That sets up his L. Zhao takes a back L hook. Jackson holding the L, and if he picks up one of the a million unseen E's, he'll have Linker or maybe even something better in that spot next turn. But he can also make a more standard play, something like Walk or Work down underneath Egged. Those are going to score 28 points, set up big hooks that Jackson doesn't have as well, but score quite well and get rid of both that W and the K that don't seem to do too much for you right now. I know my dog Colby, who made an appearance yesterday, has a preference between those plays. His favorite word in the world is walk. So Colby hoping that that is what Jackson does here. And in fact, that is what Jackson does here. So Jackson making a play for Colby. By the way, Colby, unofficial sponsor of Woogles.io, a website where many of these top tournament Scrabble players play Scrabble online now. If you haven't gone there yet, I strongly recommend you check it out. And massive kudos to Cesar Del Solar, Conrad Bassett-Bouchard, Jesse Day, and the rest of the team who put Woogles together and gave us that gift.
Looks like it worked out for Jackson. I mean, slightly Val heavy, but he certainly has bingo-friendly tiles. We'll see if he's able to use them. Noah also has an S right now. So setting up walk, I got to give it to Jackson. He is keeping things interesting for us in terms of our production quality here. Okay, so it looks like we're going to get ME. That's a pretty high scoring play. It's helpful for, it kind of shuts down that S spot, and that a word would have to start and end with an S, right?
Or start with a Y, end with an S, or
have an S in the fifth spot. Or sixth spot, which is going to be a little bit harder.
So Noah playing ME and Jackson holding on to an extremely high probability rack, Eurasian. That does not fit on the board. He's only got one bingo that plays, and Jackson, I'm sure, knows that pretty quickly. He plays from the N in Pinto. Strings this board wide open, but
non-aries?
Non-aries, yeah, like binary, but non-airy. It's got base 9 instead of base 2. So non-Aries got to be the play for Jackson, only bingo, and he's not going to miss a word that high probability. He sees there's nothing else. He's got to pull the trigger on it, and that'll put Jackson ahead 316 to 284 as Noah has BEIORRS. How is he going to respond to this? No available bingos to him anymore, but he's got a board that's open. Does he want to get aggressive and open it a little bit more? Does he want to keep things tight? You got to decide, am I trying to bingo again to win this game, or do I think I can just hang with Jackson and continue scoring? His best play is likely playing off BRO. He's got two different spots to play that for the same score. One on top of non-Aries, making BIRE and OS for 20. The other alongside Flavors, making OF also for 20. So does Noah want to keep this board wide open with his excellent leave of EIRS? Or does he want to kind of constrict this board a little bit with BRO on top of non-Aries? Or does he want to deviate and do something else? He's got some other fun options. But I think it's pretty standard. We're going to see either bro or bro come down in one of those two spots.
I would think, if I'm Noah, I'm not terribly far behind, and either of those bros, such a terrific leave. that it almost wouldn't matter if I was I could leave my options open for either trying to bingo or just trying to get some sort of high scoring play um that's going to catch me up regardless of if I bingo. It looks like he's going for the one that leaves the board a little bit more open. So maybe he is thinking he's got a bingo in the future. But I guess my point is that regardless of a bingo, if he's got that S and he doesn't know that Jackson also has an S, he thinks, hey, there's still some power tiles. I could still get some high points even without a bingo. Of course, he drew insanely useful letters.
Wow. Wow. AEIRSZ blank. Jeez. Jeez, jeez, jeez. I was worried for Noah because half of the unseen pool to him was vowels. EIRS can go astray if you draw vowels into it, but Noah going to pick up a Z and a blank and have some killer plays. Jackson now with the fun decision too. His best options look to be Swamis down from S for 45 or Wussy, WUSSY through that S for 36. He's also got one more fun that'll pique my dog's interest again, and that is extending walk to walk way for 40 points, setting up as well. So is Jackson going to address this triple line? He's only up by 12 points and a tempo right now. Definitely an interesting choice. He could also play wiry through the R and non-areas for 28, holding AMSU. And we'll try to get the unseen pool up for you guys shortly, as this is where Jackson wants to start looking at what he may or may not draw, what letters he may or may not double up. But this will be very interesting, how Jackson chooses to approach this turn. The unseen pool now available to y'all. You see a lot of E's, a lot of O's, several A's, and then some weird consonants along with NNRST. So what is Jackson going to do? How scared is he of Noah bingoing next turn? What inferences can he make after BRO? A lot of stuff for Jackson to think about on what's going to be a pivotal turn for him.
I also think it's important to note that it won't be possible for Jackson to shut down every bingo lane, and I think he knows that. So perhaps more important for him to go for points rather than trying to shut down the board knowing that he doesn't have power tiles. Of course, we know, just because we can see Noah's tiles, that playing something like Walkway is going to set up a big scoring opportunity for Noah. And it's also going to be dangerous to leave that triple open. So I think we are going to see something like either Swamis or Wussy. I think that might be the better play just because I like the leave better. WUSSY. Either way, he has to use that S.
Yeah, it's a 9-point difference, but holding UY when the unseen pool has UVY could put you in a really difficult situation down the road. But 45 points, even if Noah hits a moderate scoring bingo, as you expect him to do here, well, you'll probably take the lead again next turn, barring a nightmare draw. Now, we know that Noah won't have a regular scoring bingo. Noah's going to have probably a 90 to 100 pointer, but definitely a wild turn. And Jackson looks like is going to play Swamis. I think that's what I would do in this situation as well, and just pray I don't double up the U's or Y's here, or if I do, I at least have a big play out of them. So play with pass to Noah, who gets to make a fun decision now as well. 20 unseen tiles to Noah, meaning we've got 13 in the bag. Does Noah want a bingo, or does he want to wait? Noah has Zin available on top of Leanites, making ZA and IT. Scores 45, holds AERS blank on a board with many bingo lines. Bingoing from that P, absolutely possible. Holding that A to front hook do to make a do. Alongside Swamis through the R and non-aries, potentially plays with walks as well. There are lots of bingo options for Noah. He can score 45 and hold a great leave. Or he's got two bingos available right now, both through that R, both scoring 84, Braziers or Graziers. So I'm curious to see what Noah's going to do here. I bet Noah thinks on this for a little bit, looks at the unseen pool, figures out what could possibly make him miss a bingo out of an incredible leave like AERS blank. If I pick up both Y's, if I pick up YV, if I pick up BY, am I still going to bingo? What about UU? AERS blank is so good, even UU is going to bingo with auteurs. So it's almost impossible for Noah to miss. But, the bingo does score 39 more points. However, it also gives Jackson more information to respond. I really don't know what to do here. I think I would forego the bingo in Noah's situation, but I'd feel really dumb if I forego the bingo. Jackson blocks my spot, and I proceed to lose the game.
But I
So
guess I think of the same thing that I was mentioning earlier, although it's even more it's even truer now, which is that even if Jackson blocks my bingo spot, I got those 40 points. I'm still going to have high scoring opportunities even without bingoing because I'll have an S and a blank. So, it may not be the bingo. I may have sacrificed what'll ultimately come down to spread points, but I would think that, one, the odds of his being able to bingo after playing Zin are very high. But two, even if he doesn't bingo, I don't think he would be out of it. And it looks like he is making what I think is the right decision, playing Zin. We know he's not going to pick up, 2 Ys. We're going to see what he gets here. 2 U's, just 1. Plenty, easy enough to bingo with.
yeah, AEERSU blank. I think that's a great decision by Noah as well. And it puts pressure on Jackson now. Jackson has to decide, am I trying to block this board? Am I hoping you don't bingo? If I am blocking, how aggressive do I want to be? Jackson could knock out almost every line in the game playing something like YUPS to the S in Swamis. Jackson could score a lot more and clear up his rack with a play like Yucky, YEUKY. But Yups, would give Noah basically an opportunity to bingo from a P through a U or through a Y, and that's about it. But we know Noah's rack is so good that he might be able to do that anyway. Actually, I'm not sure. So yeah, is Jackson going to try to block everything? He's only got a 12-point lead. Yups doesn't score very well, just 13. They put him up 25 with Noah to play. It might
Looks
not...
like he is going for Yucky that way. I think that's the right call because I think you're realizing, look, there's a blank and an S out there. He could have, yucky tiles, but Noah could also have really good tiles where my trying to shut down this board isn't going to be effective anyways. Might as well score some points and see if I can draw that blank or that S myself.
Now Noah has a big decision. I mean, Noah, I think certainly to bingo in this situation, if he sees his top option, he has one bingo that outscores the others by 16. And if he sees that, I think that's got to be the play you make here. There are 7 tiles in the bag, so anything Noah does will empty the bag. Or any bingo Noah plays will empty the bag. If he only sees his low-scoring bingos alongside Swamis, something like Erasure or Yuri Aces, then those score 68, and Noah may not win this game after that. He'll have 7 tiles. Jackson will have 7 tiles, none in the bag. Jackson almost certainly to go out before him. And Noah, may not win that end game. But this bingo here that Noah does find, Puggarees, is the only one that plays on top. It is 84 points, and that is more likely than not going to win Noah this game, barring a bingo back from Jackson, as it gives Noah a commanding lead, 41-point lead. Jackson, yeah, he'll go out first. He'll get to do the out in 2. Noah just one more play here, but Jackson's not going to score enough to overcome a 41-point deficit with almost anything in that pool. So Noah finding the best bingo, making the best bingo, and you can see why bypassing a bingo last turn to hit it this turn has paid off for him. I really like that decision to play Zin, bypassing the bingo. This is exactly why. Great job, Noah. And it looks like he is going to hold on to win this game narrowly over Jackson.
I wouldn't necessarily count it out yet, just in case, Noah I guess we know Jackson's probably going to go out anyways. He has something like Poof off of Yuki that could, catch him up a little bit. It is, Noah definitely, I don't know what kind of ritual he did this morning to get the tile gods on his side, but it certainly worked. He was just drawing really, really nicely. And not just that, but the plays he was making, he never was really fishing, but the plays he was making in order to draw better kind of always panned out for him.
Yeah, they definitely paid out. Drawing both blanks certainly helps win a game as well. But Noah didn't do anything glaringly wrong. Neither did Jackson, and that's how some of these games go against two of the top players in the division. Two players rated over 2,000. Is you both just do your very best, and somebody's going to win.
Absolutely. I wonder too, with the score being what it is, if Poof is Jackson's best option. It scores pretty highly. He knows he's going to go out the next turn. I feel like that's kind of his only hope right now, I guess, or just playing Oof for the sake of scoring more with the P the next turn or something like of. But it is going to be hard to make up that deficit of, 41 points that he's got.
Yeah, Jackson's done in this game. If I'm Jackson, I'm mostly looking to stop Noah from playing Abvolt next turn, the best word Noah has available to him. It plays alongside Swami. So you can see Jackson setting up FOO. That'll make FA, OM, and OI. And stop an Abvolt play. It'll also set up Jackson's P to play POI next turn and something like Pine. So that seems like a great option for Jackson. Very reasonable and straightforward one. Quackle doesn't quite like it. I'm not sure Jackson actually guarantees himself an out after that. Yeah, Noah's going to be able to stop Jackson from going out if he wants to. So FOO doesn't guarantee an out in two sequence for Jackson. And the best sequence, according to Quackle, actually is just allow Noah to play Abvolt anyway, but guarantee that you'll go out into next turn and save a couple spread points. The game's lost for Jackson. He's just got to figure out how to minimize the bleeding. And actually, the best sequence for him is not Poof, but just Oof in the same spot. OOF making YO and EF. That'll guarantee Jackson an out into next turn no matter what.
And for people in the chat wondering, Quackle is a software that tells you what the best play is. Of course, there's no replacing the human spirit, something computers and AI simply cannot do. It doesn't know the feelings that we have, but it does tell you statistically what plays give you the best chance of winning, or in this case, the best chance of lessening the blow of that loss.
Yeah, Quackle, a great tool to use as you approach expert level play. Can teach you a lot about the game and about leaves, what letters are good together, what letters are bad together, what kind of spots are important to hit. It is also free, so if you're watching this video live or later on and you haven't seen or used Quackle, you can learn a lot about this game. You also get very humbled. Quackle makes everybody feel very stupid. That's okay.
Oh, absolutely. I do that all on my own, but Quackle is especially good at it.
Yeah, I don't need a computer program to tell me I'm stupid. I already know. But alas, yeah, Jackson's now seen it. So if he plays OOF, Noah hits Abvolt back and he holds PEIN, it'll overlap Abvolt and give him a good outplay. That's his best end game by 6 points. Jackson always tries to think these things through. He's not one of those players who rage plays his last 3 turns when he gets hit by a bad beat or whatever. He knows every spread point matters. As last year, we saw Joey Krafchick miss the finals in this tournament by just a number of spread points. So Joey vowed to play every game as best as he could, not take any turns off. And then we saw him like insta-play several games in 6 or 7 minutes at the World Cup. And he's 1-6 at this tournament, was threatening to quit yesterday, but did not do so. He is playing today from reports I've heard. So anyway, alas, this is Jackson's best end game. Kudos to him for finding it. He's going to make sure he can't do anything else. Blocking Abvolt looks so good to Jackson, but there's not a way to block Abvolt and guarantee an out in 2 that scores well.
Absolutely. I think, Jackson is a pretty calm player. I think he's like got a good head on his shoulders, and he knows that the tournament is young and equally as important. I mean, not equally. Obviously, you want to win the game, but it's also important to set yourself up for those spread points also getting you into the finals. Once you've kind of taken that moment to emotionally accept, hey, I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose this game. Well, how can we take our wins? Maybe the win here is to keep the spread as small as possible. Also would say oof here, right? Big oof on this game. But I think, Jackson, I think he's smart enough to know that he shouldn't throw out the baby with the bathwater, and he's going to take his time. Yes, the bag is empty for those asking along. He's going to take his time to find the best play and not just give up on the game.
Yes, and Noah to respond. It looks like Noah's best play is not actually Abvolt here. By 1 point, he can save just a smidge of spread by not giving Jackson that big PEIN play back. It's kind of counterintuitive, but Quackle prefers that Noah just play Baton alongside Swamis with 4 overlaps, so that Jackson's outplay of Pine or Pine scores a little bit less. So Abvolt makes sense. 21 points holds the N. Baton sneakily 1 spread point better. Or Noah could be that guy and stop Jackson from going out next turn with a play like LAVS, but you're only scoring 8 as opposed to 23 with that. So, Noah's going to think through these options as well, make sure he gets the most spread he can. That's probably what gave Jackson so much pause last turn as well, is like, oh, well, he can stop me from going out even after oof, but is it worth it? Do I want to sit here and think through all of the turns and what Noah can do and what I would do and what Noah would do? But Jackson did make the right decision here. Noah's going to take his time and make sure he makes the right decision as well. But almost any valid word for Noah will win this game. And typically Division I players, when faced with a situation where they have to make a valid play to win the game, manage to do that. I am the exception to that rule. Shout out to Sastar.
I think you're right. Noah probably knows at this point that he's also won the game unless he majorly messes up. But it sounds like he just has to make a good decision, even if he doesn't play Abvolt, or if Jackson was hoping that he wouldn't see that for some reason. You're right. Something like that, something off of the S of Swamis that just blocks Jackson from going out should be enough.
Correct. Yes. So he's going to decide how cute does he want to be. Does he want to try to stop Jackson from going out into, is it worth it? He's going to sit here and do that math in his head now. Of course, the game is over, but Jackson's not going to be a poor sport. Both players understand, especially at this level, every spread point could matter. And it's so early in the tournament, you don't know what your situation is like. You'll see maybe players take these situations off if they end up with a tie, assuming spread won't matter for them. But as we saw in the CSW division at World Cup, where like half the field ended up with a tie, even a tie doesn't make you immune from the perils of punting spread late in the game.
Absolutely. And it's also true that, there's something to be said about hanging your hat for just having a high score in this game. Jackson's going to have a pretty high scoring loss here. I always wish that when you fill out the score sheet, you could put but I was really, really close. Can you put that somehow on the standings? Put a little asterisk that says well, she really just played her little butt off and she was so close. And, he got both those S's, and I wish there were a way to denote that.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about brownie points yesterday, and we should come up with a, but it was really close metric as well.
Right.
I know players always baffle me with the kinds of things they're able to think of to complain about. Obviously, blank count is a big one. But man, people get so creative. I didn't draw an O until the 9th turn of this game. Well, dude, I don't care at all. But
yeah, also,
great.
how are
please
you
let me take my piss in peace so I can get back to Scrabble? No. But yeah, it was really close points. Maybe a way to complain as well, or maybe just a way to, get your due, show that you did your best.
I wasn't even thinking of it as a way to complain. I was thinking more like something to hang my hat on, especially with being intimidated of I would never want to play on a board that's being broadcast because I'm sure I'd make Quackle's 8th choice every time. But to be able to look back on this game, I think Jackson can say he played incredibly well. I think he made the right call most of the time with the tiles that he had. That's certainly something to hang your hat on too. It's nice to be able to say it kind of just came down to luck of the draw and not to some big error.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything Jackson will go back and be like, man, I shouldn't have done that. Sometimes your opponent just draws both blanks and another easy bingo and just beats you. It's fine. Maybe Jackson can go back and think about the yucky turn. Should I have blocked more? But Noah ended up drawing puggarees on the top, so any attempt to block would have been futile anyway. Ooh, good job, Noah. He is going to find Baton 1 point better than Abvolt, doing all the math, getting 1 spread point from Jackson, and this will absolutely come back to matter in round 27. You heard it here first from Matt Canik. Write this down. Noah's going to need that spread point. Very important. Great job, Noah. You did it.
Noah also playing incredibly well. You know, we can say, oh, he got great tiles, but he also knew how to play them. Puggeries, of course, being a place that breeds pugs. Just kidding. That's not what it means. He found maybe not the most obvious words. And it's not just about getting those good tiles. It's about having the sense of knowing when to play them, knowing when to wait for a bingo. I think we saw an incredibly smart move in his playing Zin and waiting for that bingo the next turn. So some plays that took some patience and some self-control and, you know, not just bingoing as soon as you have the opportunity. I think that's the sign of some very mature play.
Yeah, no, great job by both of them. Noah, I think just the one really tough missing Insipid as that double-double earlier on in this game. But otherwise, a really solid play by 2 really solid players, and that's what we've come to expect. Rust, definitely a thing we've seen at this tournament, as many of these players just played a 31-game marathon at World Cup, and now they're playing 28 to 33 more games here. But Rust not really on display here. Solid game by both players. Well done. And we're going to end our score right there as Jackson goes out with Pine. And he's going to lose this game by 12 points, 444 to 456. So that's the end of game 1. We are going to pivot over to Collins for 2 games this morning. And then our final game of the morning session will be back in the NWL division. So I just want to let everybody know, as we shout out words in chat or don't shout out words in chat, the next game and the following game are going to be CSW. But I believe that's the end of the CSW we're going to be showing at this tournament, given that Worlds next week is 100% CSW, and we'll get a lot of games on display there. I'm going to see if our broadcaster is able to get us some of the post-game banter here, as I want to see what these players are thinking about. So, Christian, I'll stop talking, and we'll see if we can get some of that audio on.
Maybe not, but I think I can imagine what they're saying, which is probably Jackson is looking over that decision to play Yucky there through the K, thinking maybe he could. Oh, we got it.
Swami's not even wrong. I didn't love it. Got a UI. I felt like I was missing something.
Maybe Jackson texting me here asking what he missed on Swami's.
I guess we could do Wussy, but
I saw Wussy, yeah, like 9 fewer. Already, I mean, AIM can handle vowels better, but it's already a vowel heavy pool. That's true. I mean, UI is gross. There's at least a spot for UI. Okay, I just got a text saying Swami's was fine. That's good to know. A walkway. Oh, interesting.
Ooh, that's cool.
Oh, that's the play.
Yeah.
That's the play, yeah. No, I think that might be better.
Walkway?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
ISUI.
Keeping M.
It's a bit dangerous.
MUIS, right?
Yeah. I think that's worth it.
The walkway.
Yeah.
Setting up a huge. Yeah.
I think that's better. Yeah, I should have done
that. Good. I could very easily have an S myself.
Have what? An S?
Yeah.
And after bro, I feel like you're pretty strong.
Yeah.
Like, what'd you have?
Rise.
RISE. Yeah, I figured something along those lines. But you know what? Like, the S, it's not so dangerous there.
Yeah.
Like, some you bingo, but some you don't. And then it's fine.
There's just like no either play you make. There's a lot of stuff left on the board, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I think I would play walkway had I seen it.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Should I submit?
Yeah. Apparently you had Insipid somewhere.
Oh shit!
Where?
That's bad.
When was this? Oh, through here?
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about that word.
That's a nice extension.
So what?
Sinsipida.
Wow. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be good to see.
So you had CI.
Yeah, I don't think I even like can really. I might have like. I feel like I just like dismissed the double without even really thinking about it or something.
For sure. I know what you mean. Good estimate.
All right. Well, with that, it looks like the end of this game. We're going to take a quick break as we look at the Collins division and figure out what matchup we want to give to y'all. We're going to take just a quick break so I can top off my coffee. Y'all at home, stretch your legs out. We won't be gone long, and we'll switch over to 2 CSW games. Don't go anywhere. I'm Matt Canik, joined by Hannah Lieberman, and we will be back with more Scrabble from sunny Las Vegas in just a few minutes. Until then, adios.